Welcome to week 2, day 2 for 5th grade Reds. So yesterday's exit ticket for day 1 was 7,200 divided by 9. What you should have gotten was 800. Some of you I think got 8, so you want to be cautious here, okay? Some of you even got 80. So you want to take a look and figure out why that it should be 800. Well, 9 goes into 72 8 times. 8 times 9 equals 72. I subtract, I get 0. Now I have to continue on until I have no place values left. I still have a tens and a ones place value. There's nothing in them. Technically it's not nothing. It shows there's nothing in them, but they're technically multiples of 10, right? So I bring down this 0. 9 goes into 0, 0 times. 0 times 9 equals 0. Bring down this 0. 9 goes into 0, 0 times. 0 times 9 equals 0. I subtract to get 0, which gives me the 800. All right, so for day 2, here's what we're doing. We are going to still do 4-digit divided by 1 digit, but there'll be an assortment of numbers besides just zeros in the ones and the tens place, like there was yesterday. So let's get started. 8 is going into 3,824. So I did my 8 times tables for starters. Next, I checked to see how many 8s can go into 38. Closest I can get to is 32, which is 4 times. Put the 4 above the 38, the 8 of the 38. 4 times 8 equals 32. I subtract to get 6. I bring down the 2 that's in the tens place. Now I'm asking myself how many 8s go into 62. Well, closest I can get to without going over is 56. Therefore, 7 of them. 7 times 8 equals 56. I subtract to get 6. I bring down the 4 from the ones place. How many 8s go into 64? Well, that should be visually obvious. 8 goes into 64 exactly, and it goes in 8 times. 8 times 8 equals 64. I subtract up, nothing left over, giving me 478 as my solution. So let's move on to number 2 now. 1,280 divided by 5. Find your 5 times tables products and solve for 1,280 divided by 5. Hit the pause button now, please. So for your top 5 times tables, you should have gotten 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. And remember, these are considered multiples, that keyword multiples, of 5. 5 goes into 12. How many times? It's the closest you got without going over. Well, 10, which means it goes in 2 times. You hopefully subtracted to get 2, then you hopefully brought down the 8 to get 28. How many 5s are going into 28? Well, hopefully you've recognized 5 of them, because the closest I can get to is 25. 5 goes above the 8 of 28. 5 times 5 equals 25. You subtract to get 3. You bring down the 0 from the ones place to make it a 30. 5 goes into 30. How many times? Well, it goes in exactly 6 times to give you that 30. 6 times 5 equals 30. subtract, and you have nothing left over and nothing left to bring down, giving you 256 as your solution. So if you got stuck somewhere, where was it? Was it figuring out what 5 should go into? Was it your multiplication facts? Was it your subtraction? If you made a mistake somewhere, this is the time to figure out where that mistake is coming from so you can slow down. As I like to think of it, like when you get older, you're driving, you see a slow down sign because you've got a curve ahead, right? There's a warning there. There's a curve ahead, so you should slow your vehicle down. Not come to a stop, but at least slow down. Same thing here. You want to recognize what's the mistake you're making, so when you get to that same spot in the next problem, you slow down, not necessarily stop, but you slow down to help yourself not make that same mistake again. So let's move on to number 3. 1,808 divided by 4. Do your 4 times tables and then solve the division problem. Hit the pause button now, please. So your multiples of 4 should be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. How many 4s are going to go into 18? Closest without going over is 16. And it takes you 4 times to get there. So the 4 goes above the 8 of the 18. 4 times 4 equaled the 16. You subtract. Hopefully you got 2 left over. Now you're bringing down the 0 that's in the tens place, making it a 20. 4 goes into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 gave you 20. You subtract. You have nothing left over. I hope you didn't freeze and stop there, because yes, there's 0 here, but you do have something to bring down in the ones place. It was the 8. Some of you might have thought the answer was 45 there. You bring down the 8. Now you ask yourself, how many 4s go into 8? 2 of them. 2 times 4 equaled 8. You subtract. You get nothing left over and nothing left to bring down, which gives you the answer of 452. Now let's move on to number 4. How many 7s are going into 5,082? Go ahead, solve your 7 times tables. Find the multiples of 7, and then solve the division expression. Hit the pause button now, please. So I've done my 7 times tables, got the 7 multiples: 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63. How many 7s now are going to go into 50? Close as I can get without going over was 49, which means 7 of them go in. Put the 7 above the 0 of 50. 7 times 7 equals 49. Subtract, you get 1. Bring down your 8 from the tens place to give you 18. 7 goes into 18. How many times? Close I can get without going over is 14, which means it took you 2 times to get there. 2 times 7 equals 14. Subtract, you have 4. Bring down the 2 from the ones place. 7 goes into 42. How many times? Exactly 6 times. 6 times 7 gave you that 42. You have nothing left over, nothing to bring down, giving you a solution of 726. So hopefully you slowed down on this problem. Hopefully you caught your mistake. But if not, this is the time to do it before the exit ticket. Find your mistake. Figure out where it's happening. Maybe even go back over some of the problems. You can rewatch this video as much as you want until you can figure out where that mistake is happening at. and then go move on to the exit ticket and post your answer in the Google form. Thank you guys very much for your participation today. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you back here next week. Bye now. We have one more day.